I am a real estate agent and I'm also a broker, which means I sell property, but I also have 17 agents under me that sell property too. So I'm a real estate agent and a broker. And I did grow up here in Franklin County, and I do have a story to share, but to tell in a little bit. But do you all know what a real estate agent is?
Yes.
Okay. What do you call a real estate agent? What do they do?
Somebody that helps somebody find their dream home, somebody that deals with a lot of contractors. It's a lot that comes with the job. I want to do it, so I study a lot.
You do?
About it, so.
Okay, very good. Well, good. Well, maybe I can help you a little bit today. Anybody else thought about being a real estate agent? Okay.
I like the idea of putting some houses, that's really,
And that, I've done a little bit of that in my past. So, and that's a great idea. And if you become a real estate agent and what I call that part of an investor, there's some good money to be made in that too. So, what he's talking about is finding a good house for a good deal, either a foreclosure or somebody that just needs to get out of the house. It needs to sell it quick or going to a tax auction, what I've done. Instead I sell houses, I can list a house or I can be on the selling agent of the house. If you list a house, somebody may call me to, and they want to move out of state or they want to upgrade to a different house, and they'll say, I want to put my house on the market. So I'll go and evaluate their house. I will use my MLS system and pull comps to see in the area what the value of their house is. And then I'll get them to sign an agreement with me, a listing agreement. And we'll talk about, what is fair market value for their house and what the market's doing, at that point, because the market's always changing, just like the stock market. And we'll put their house on the market, and it doesn't end there. Then I'll start doing like open houses and marketing. I'll order professional pictures, and I'll do a really good job getting. I'm a really good listing agent, so I'll do a really good job getting their house on the market, because the better I show that house, the more likely it's going to sell. And that's the list part of being a real estate agent. There's also a selling part of being a real estate agent. So that would be if somebody calls me and says, hey, I'm coming to the area, or hey, I want to buy a house, I'm a first-time homeowner, or hey, I want to buy a lake house, I'm from out of town, I want to come and get a lake house. At that point, I become a selling agent. So a real estate agent could be the list or the selling agent. So then I would get the buyers in my car and not just show my listings, I would show whatever they want to see. Other agents list houses, so I would go out and get their criteria of what they want in a house and go out and show them those houses. And then when I do find them something, we would go into a purchase agreement. So it's not just putting the house on the market. There's a lot of detail that goes along with it, that's why you need all the classes for. You learn how to do all of these contracts, like a listing agreement and a purchase agreement. And then there's a lot of disclosures that go along with that. When I was young, I grew up really poor. I grew up here in Franklin County, but I just didn't have a lot of money. My parents were really good people. I grew up very, very poor. And had friends that had lake houses, and I would get to go visit them and see what all they had. And I made a goal when I was a kid. I said, I want to make it. I want to be really good in life, and I'm going to do this on my own with God's help. And so I set out to find something that I would be really good at. And I'd always had a passion for houses. I'd always had a passion for property. So even when I got my driver's license, I would drive around and just, instead of going to a party, sometimes I would go and look at houses, or I would drive down Scruggs Road and look at Menards Landing and just see how beautiful the lake was, because only way I was at the lake was with friends or at the beach park. And so anyway, when I graduated school, I still went to college, because my parents had dwelled that in me. They were like, you need to go to college, you need to go to college. And I actually became a teacher for 4 years. But I still had that passion for real estate. So I got my license, and I said, well, let me give it a try. And I wouldn't teach summer school. I took my summers off, and I tried real estate in the summer. And I made more money that summer than I did the whole year teaching school, so I took a year leave of absence. And that's been 24 years ago, so I've been doing real estate for a long time now. Anybody have any specific questions about what real estate agents do as far as, do you have any questions, Katie?
I'm just listening.
Okay, that's fine. The way we get paid though is that, we are our own business owner. So I don't have, somebody that will supply me with my advertising. I have to build up enough to do that myself. And so I have to, spend my money on advertising, but when we do get paid, we get paid pretty good money. But it's more motivation for me to sell these houses too, because I'm using my own money to do that, and I do professional pictures. Here's one that I just sold that I was gonna show you. And give you an example, just in case. This is one that I put on the market. I just lost it though.
Just go back. Just at the back, yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
This is one that I put on the market. January 10th. And this one's right up here in Rocky Mount. If you're going toward Roanoke, it's right near the Riverbend subdivision. Anyway, it's got almost 7 acres. And so the first thing I did when I found out I was getting this to put on the market, I hired professional photos. Well, very first thing I did is I did comps. Because this isn't like a cookie cutter house. It was it was kind of in a subdivision, but it had acreage, and it wasn't like right in town where I could go get houses that are so similar to this, because this one was a really nice, larger home in Rocky Mount, and it was going to be priced a little bit higher than normal salaries are in Franklin County. So this one went on the market for $599. So after I did the comps, I still wasn't sure if I priced it right or not. I got professional photos, which on this one I did aerial photos also. It had a barn. And I even do stuff like make sure I capture the land and the features of it, like the creek that goes along with it. This one had a little bit of older taste in it though. The house was really nice, but it had that like 1990s decor in it. So I did my best to try to still showcase it as good as I could. But we ended up, I put it on some good websites because the salaries for most people here, even with a college degree, don't really support this price right here. Because if you're making, policeman salary or regular salary, that's a lot of money for somebody. So I do online advertising, and I zoomed in on the social media to people up in the north, and I actually found somebody from New Jersey that drove in to buy this one. And so it's under contract now. But that just gives you an example of, and I was getting ready to do like open houses, real estate agents, to try to promote their listings. Sometimes they'll do weekend open houses, which I buy all the materials for that. I bought these photos. Collectively, the photos were about $500-600. Putting it on the market and the website was about $1,800. Got a lot of money into this. But I sold it, and I happened to be the list and the sale agent on this one. So not only did I list the property, but I found the buyer for it too. They happened to call me. So this one will end up being a good profit. Real estate agents, when they list a property, the normal is to get 3% of the sales price. And then when you sell it, you get 3% of the sales price. So anybody want to calculate what I'm going to end up making when I close on this? I don't get paid till it closes.
Is it full price? Did you go full price?
It went for $570.
All right, so you gotta use that number.
Yeah, $570.
Is it one
We
store?
can't have our phones.
Okay, all right. So,
We'll let it do it for the.
Yeah,
Get out of there. Get a calculator.
yeah.
You see real numbers.
So
Yeah,
I
you-
want to
she's
know
got
what the list commission would have been, the sale commission, and what together it would be.
it. And you don't have to pay brokerage for it.
I don't have to do one.
I know. What you got, girlfriend?
34,000.
It's not a bad paycheck for that. But when I went into it, I didn't know if I would sell it or not. So I had several $1,000s tucked up in it. But this one was a really good one that I was gonna try to sell myself. Because not only am I getting the list commission on that, I'm also getting the sell commission on that.
Right.
If I had just listed it, that would have been the 570 times 3%, so it would have been half of that. So, what, 17,000. Still good paycheck for that. But again, I put all of my advertising in up front, and if I don't sell it, then I'm out of that money. Does that make sense? So real estate agent could be a very, very profitable, but you also have to go in. If I priced this one at $8.99 because the sellers were saying, well, my house is worth this, and I wouldn't have sold it at $8.99. I had to find out the actual real market price on this, which means I had to study. This one was harder because I had to study comps like around the area too. I had to go out into the county and study them, but we got a buyer for that. Does that make sense? So that's one of them. And then I also focus on the lake because the lake is, I think I got this down. Here's another one I listed that I haven't sold yet. This is a 2-bedroom condo. These people that own this unit, I just sold them another unit that's not on the market. We got it before it went on the market. They're getting ready to have a grandkid. They have 2 kids already, and now they're gonna have a grandkid, and they have the wife of one of their kids. So the 2-bedroom wasn't suiting them anymore, and this is a vacation home. So they bought a much larger, and the other house I just sold, that was 2 stories, that was about 4,000 square feet, I think, was $599. And the difference of having 1,000 square foot for $499 or a big house for $599 is Mountain Lake because of the amenities. It's like when you get to the lake, it sometimes triples or goes even higher than that, right? So that's why I do focus on the lake a lot because that's where a lot of people are coming in and they're buying houses and you make more money there. But I like, it doesn't matter to me though, like if it's a $10,000 lot or a $2 million house. I have a passion of helping people find their dream place, whether it's a starter home or whether it's their vacation home that they've been wanting to do all their life. There's a saying that I want y'all to remember, if you don't remember, because I know y'all have different guest speakers, you've got a lot going on in your life, but I want you to, this was told to me when I was young, and I just want you to remember, if you don't remember anything else, 10 2-letter words. If it is to be, it is up to me. If it is to be, it is up to me. Because, I grew up really poor, and I had a lot of people that told me that I wasn't going to make it. And I've made it, not only am I a real estate agent, and I'm doing pretty well, but I also am my own boss, and I'm the boss of other people. So you just, no matter what you want to do in life, know that if it is to be, it is up to me, and it's up to you all. You can do great things in life because of all people, a lot of people told me I wasn't going to make it. When I was growing up, people cut on me, or where I lived and how I was growing up. But I knew if it was to be, it was up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. So if you don't remember anything else, just remember you can do great things in life. Just it is up to you, and you get your goal and you focus on it, and you can make it. I'm just gonna do a hot sheet. Say that again. I want to do a hot sheet. Okay. That was a rental, though.
This one?
Yeah.
I talked to Nick last night, and it's a rental, they're leasing it right now.
What is?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm calling her. She can be my boss if she wants to.
There you go. Did you guys see the difference? Why would somebody want to pay 400,000+ besides the lake for that smaller unit versus that large home with acreage?
They got too much money.
Yeah.
It comes with a lot
said
more
that?
than just a house.
Yeah, it does. It comes with a lot more. So you'll probably be in a different stage of life. Either A, it could be a vacation home, or B, they don't have kids and they want to relax differently or whatnot. I mean, everybody has different desires and needs at different points in their life, right? How many of you rather have the lake apartment.
It doesn't
I'd
matter.
rather have the land in the house. You can cover up ugly wallpaper, y'all.
Yeah.
There's
Really?
There's better homes than that.
Yeah. Oh, what am I doing?
There's different types of property, like I list land, I list homes, I list lakefront, and then, that is pulling up like commercial. The difference between, a regular residential and commercial is usually where businesses go. And this is one I have in town for Danny for you. It's 110 Maple Avenue, it's currently an office. When I was growing up, it used to be Peace River's attorney's office. And, again, the square footage isn't as much as that house that's sold, but we're asking for $450 for this and $449 because commercial brings in more than residential. It's not just selling a house, there's a lot of things to it. You've got to study the market, you've got to keep up with the market, you've got to make repeat phone calls. I am really good at, staying in touch with people and bugging them until they buy. You've got to be pretty aggressive in this business. If somebody calls me on another property, I'll keep their name and number and I'll get their email. And I'll start, this email system that I have, sending them daily emails just to keep my face in front of them. Because as a real estate agent, nobody's giving you the buyers or the sellers. You've got to go out and find them yourself. So if I get slow, I do like marketing things where I send out mail out. Have any of you gotten a mail out from a real estate agent in your mailbox where they just, that's them trying to get business? Maybe they're slow and they need to try to find a listing or try to find a buyer. So there's a lot of advertising that goes into it. But again, when you get those paychecks, they're good paychecks. But with those good paychecks, I don't just go out and blow it. I usually, I always, on the top, I give to God, and then I put about 20% in my advertising budget so that I have that budget to keep going with. When I first got into real estate, I put 50% in the advertising budget to keep growing, and now we're only have to put about 15 to 20% on it. Any questions? Do you have any specific questions about anything that I do?
How many are on the real estate class real quick?
Yeah, who is it?
Over here.
No, it's
Okay,
all
okay.
Just
How's it going?
Oh,
You are in real estate?
Cindy Coleman, Ron Sisler.
Does that class get you your license?
they can if they have to take an exam, right?
Yeah, it counts as like the class, but the prior
Credit.
get your thing.
And then
but
you go
take
job
test. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you can take the test through the class if you want.
Not the state exam.
You
You have to go to run it. It's a very regimented, like you have to go to an agency. But you can take your final.
So, it teaches you all core classes that you need for it, and then you have to go to the test. Okay.
Does it have prep in it, 2 years exam prep? It's really, I think, hopefully. Well, we can help you with that.
Okay. Are you enjoying that class, the ones that are taking it?
Yeah.
Is it hard?
It's kind of simple basics,
Okay, because they teach you, just so you know, they teach you a little law in that class, a whole lot of law. You will use 40% of what you learn. So I mean, do learn it because it is law. It is a lot of things that you do need in there, but they don't teach you how to spell. They just throw you out there, kind of like teaching. They teach you the basic, but you got to learn how to do that part of it yourself. So, yeah, let's get some of your questions out. I might remember some more other things.
Nick?
So at the beginning, you got people that work on you. So
I had people that
work under you.
Yeah.
So you have to like training them.
That's a great question. So, I was a real estate agent, and then you have to be an agent for 3 years, and then you can become a broker. So I became a broker, and back in like 2004, I opened up my own firm. But then I ended up being very blessed and having a baby. So I went back to just being a real estate agent, so I could be a good mom. And, because I couldn't be a great agent, a great broker, and a great mom, that was too much. So back in 18 or 19, Denver, my child, is 15 now, but it was like 12 or whatever back then. So I knew he was grown enough that I could be a broker again. So I went back into it and opened my own company. Number one, at that point, I was just gonna open my own company. Because out of the real estate commission that you get, like the 3%, for example, or the 6% on the first one I showed you, the $34,000. All right, if you're just an agent and you work for another company, I was given 30% to my boss, right off the top. You wouldn't, I was just given 30% because brokers make a portion of what all the agents make. So I have graduated to that now, but at that point, I was giving him, I mean, one time I gave him, it was like $120,000 that year for doing nothing. He was earning that much off of my money. And so I said, it's time for me to be a broker again. So, number one, I did it so I wouldn't have to keep paying him those big fees and I already had my education. So then after I become a broker, and I was just gonna be a broker myself, I had other agents come to me and ask me if they could work for me. And I wasn't gonna do it like I did before, because being a broker is a lot of work too, because you do have to manage other agents and you're fully responsible. But I prayed about it and I decided that, I would allow a few to come under me. Technically, you are supposed to train those agents, yes, but I don't want to. So, because my passion and my goal is to sell property. That's what I love to do. That's what I'm good at doing. So I have told anybody that comes to work under me, I'm not training you officially, like giving you the classes like other brokers do. I'm not doing all of that. I will train you as in, if you have any questions, I'll always be there for you. If you run into problems, I'll absolutely help you. But I don't offer that training. That's why I don't allow a lot of new agents to work under me. I don't want to do that. I taught school, did that, been there, done that. I don't want to teach it. I don't want to teach this. Maybe later when I retire, I'll do something like that. But right now, I want to stay focused on it. So because I don't offer training, I don't charge the 30% like a lot of the agencies do. I only charge 10%. But it's still not a bad deal because I have 17 agents that work under me. And week before last, one of my agents had a really good paycheck there, closed 5 properties. He made $70,000 that week. I got $700 for just being a broker. And that was an extra bonus for me being a broker because I didn't have to do a whole lot. So that was a nice. And so whenever these agents do sell, they come and bring their paychecks to me because I'm a broker. They're made out to property managers. And then I pay them 90% of what. But I don't offer any training. But because I don't offer training, I'm not charging as much of my brokerage. If you worked at Remax, then they would have gotten $21,000 of his $70,000. So at least he saved money by working under me. I saw it. Did that help? Okay. Is the mail place for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
How did you get started right out of high school?
If I could go back in time, that was something I forgot to say. If I could go back in time, because when I was 16, 15, I loved houses. And it was probably because I grew up in a trailer and I didn't have a house. So I always wanted a house, so I just wanted to know about houses. And my dad worked for modular home company, and I thought that was cool. I would go visit him one time in college during the summer. I worked at the modular home company to learn about houses because I was fascinated with them. And if I could go back in time, I would probably just get a tutor. But college was, my parents, they're really good people, but they wanted me to go to college to get some big job, so I wouldn't end up for it. And they always, because real estate is risky and that you're putting your own money and there's no guaranteed income, they thought it would be a good idea, and because they've never been business owners before, that I have a place where you have guaranteed income. Because as a real estate agent, you have to buy your own retirement, buy your own insurance, you've got to do all of that. You don't have a place that supplies all that for you. So I went to college. It took me 7 years to get my 4-year degree because I had to work full time to support myself through it. I was one of the people that probably didn't need to college. I'm thankful I have it. But if I didn't and had just gone straight into real estate, I'd probably be a little further down the road of maybe being a big developer So I lost a few years of that because I didn't start real estate until I was 26 and I graduated high school at 17. There's 9 years I lost that I could have just gone straight into it. But I also had a lot of good experiences that happened along the way. So I didn't get started till I was 26, no, right out of high school because I did do the college thing. With real estate, all you need is that class that's going to do all everything. Or when you graduate, if you didn't take that class, it's like a 2 or 3 week class. And
It's only 2 to 3 weeks.
What is?
if you do it full time, like all day long.
Oh, don't.
Okay, but some people do that.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Or 8 weeks.
Or 8 weeks, or 8 weeks. And then you go take the test. And you don't need college.
I don't need the 8 weeks. I was told I don't need college, but I was gonna do it in Florida.
Yeah, I still think college is a good idea, but some of us, some of us didn't. I had a $70,000 loan to pay back on college that I'm not using. So, but I want my child to go to college, and he wants to become a real estate agent. That's where he's lived and breathed, but he's decided he wants to be an agent and wants to take over my company at some point. And I want him to do that. But I've already got him a college fund, and I really want him to go to college. But what I've told him is maybe I started checking into it. Like Harvard Business School offers like marketing and digital marketing classes. It's still college, but you might not get that 4-year degree. But college isn't for everybody. Some people want to be electricians or plumbing, and they may go to a trade school. Still college, just not a 4-year thing. They're not here to promote or not to promote college because it's absolutely wonderful. I'm like 3 classes away from being a doctor. I kept going. I got my master's degree at Catholic. But probably not now. I have to go back and review stuff. But I'm not using it in college. But sometimes I look back and I'm probably better at statistics and research than a lot of my co-agents, my other agents are. Because of all the research papers I had to do in school, I think my portfolios or my listing presentations are better because I used my college experience to do all of that. I think that, it did help. But trade schools are great too. What do you want to do when you were an agent? Or you were an investor?
Yeah, I wanted to book a house.
Okay. Denver has talked about doing that. So it's something that I think is cool. They have a tax auction 2 or 3 times a year at Franklin County where people don't pay their taxes and it goes to auction and they sell it like really cheap. A couple years ago, 10 years ago probably, there was this piece of property. I went to a tax auction and there was this piece of property worth $20,000, probably somewhere around there. And I got it. All you have to do is pay the taxes off on it and compete against anybody else bidding on it. I don't know if the numbers are exactly right, but I got it for around $1,500 or $1,700. That was worth $27,000, and I didn't have to do anything to it. Putting a sign up on the property, and before I even got it on the left, the neighbor wanted it, and was willing to give me like $5,000 down, and then pay me owner financing for several years to give me $12,000. I didn't get the $20,000 it was worth, but I still got 5 times as much as my money just by putting a sign up. So that is great. And then I also have bought a couple houses in town and have fixed them up and either rent them or flip them. But Denver, I let him go and take some college money and bid on homes. He hasn't gotten one yet or bid on them at the tax auction. Because if he gets one, then I will teach him how to be that investor, how to do that. It's a great idea. You can make money. You can lose money. I've lost money doing that too. I bought it and the market fell, and still had to sell it to get my money back, and I was thankful. So, but there is good money to be made. All right, another question?
Does your son go here?
He is still homeschooled. He's coming back in the fall. So, in fact, I sent him when COVID happened. I sent him to Liberty University online. And then I just never brought him back to public school, but I want him to be in public school for the social experience. He only needs like 7 classes to graduate, so we'll make him be a junior in the senior. So he, just for the social part of it, but he's amazing. He weighed close to 300 pounds and really bad last year. He lost 127 pounds. He's And now he's Mr. Workout.
Yeah. He's only 15, right?
Yeah, let me show you, just in case anybody knows him.
Do you know Deborah Johnson?
Deborah Johnson, he's friends with Jamari.
Oh.
That's one of his best friends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Joe,
We definitely know.
Oh, wow, really?
Joe,
You let me friends with him?
Joe Hell.
yes.
Yeah,
that's his
I
best
know.
friend.
Yeah, I definitely.
And Clay Hall.
Oh, I might, because I know Clay.
Okay, and then, Jamari's one of his best friends.
We've definitely seen him on the.
Here's what he looks like now, but he was 300 pounds, if any of y'all know him.
I might know him. Jamar behind
And then he took with,
like, I might for the other day, Were you listening?
Jamari is still hard.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions?
All right, guys.
Yes.
Listen, guys.
That's a good question. I like my question. Sorry. Chick-fil-A. I'll bring you some one day about it. It's different now than it used to be. When I first got into real estate, it took a while for things to sell. And then all of a sudden the market started booming, but this was like the 03, 05 boom. And then it boomed, so it was hard for me to actually learn what a consistent market is. I guess it's never consistent. And so it was slow, and then it started booming really fast, and then we went through, if you all have ever heard of the 08 to 2010 crash, where the whole economy crashed.
Yep.
And so then it took forever for houses to sell. Probably 2.5 years. And that's why I had to save so much money at the beginning, because the market was tough then. And that's why I had to, at the beginning, put like half of my salary into advertising, because every month I keep this on the market, I have to spend money in advertising on it, which is, can add up if you have 2.5 years. So sometimes I make really good money. The market's that good again. It's not as good as it was 2 years ago, because we went through something right after COVID where I guess people realized that there wasn't enough houses for the people that are out here today. So they said there was this housing shortage, which I had no idea that we had a housing shortage, and I've been in it 27 years. But I guess there is a housing shortage, and it still is, according to what they're saying. And so it's getting back to where, like 2 years ago, when they were claiming there was a housing shortage and the interest rates were really, really low, which they've gone up. And the market's very dependent upon other things too, like banking and home inspection. I'll go over that in just a second. Now, an average time, if you have it priced right, is 9 days on the market. Unless you have the supply and demand inventory, like at the lake, there are no homes on the market between 800,000 and 1.5 million. Zero, like two. There's two, but one of them has a lot of issues, and the other one I saw this week, which is the one yesterday. So if you have a house like that that's in demand with the supply and demand, you can still sell it like that with competing offers. But if you have a house like this, the one I just showed you, the Claybrook thing, average is about 9 days. You've got to expect when you put something on the market, if we say you're 9 days, you've got to put at least 90 days worth of advertising. So, but the supply and demand does affect the market a whole lot. And there are a lot of other jobs that are related to real estate. If you don't want to be a real estate agent, there are other jobs that you can do. My husband owns Burnett Valley Home Inspections. So when we sell one of these houses, a realtor will call a home inspector, and they will come and look at the house entirely or perform a radon test. There are also they're $500 a pop usually. So if he does 2 a day, so that's a business that could do really good money, home inspection. Well, septic and termite, I have to call and get a well, septic and termite inspection. Radon mitigators, if there's radon in the house, that's another job that we rely on people. When we do the home inspection, we have to call contractors, which are electricians, plumbers. basic contractors to do repairs on the house to get it to closing. There's a lot that goes onto it. From the time just because I sell a house doesn't mean I'm done with it. Paycheck's coming, I have to get it to closing, so I have to send it to a closing attorney. And they have to do all the title work and things like that, so they get a piece of the pie on this. And then the inspectors and the contractors, surveyors, sometimes people want to survey, and so I have to call a surveying company. So there's a lot of other jobs that tie into real estate. Any other questions? Did I answer your question? Okay. Yes.
Have you ever had a haunted or murder house?
Have a what?
A haunted or murder house? All things that drive.
Maybe a murder.
Surprise, I was very, which one I could talk about. I've had strange experiences. I've had a couple where people were murdered there. It's kind of weird.
We can't really tell you that.
Yeah, you know, I have to be careful. I've had, I'm on my own a lot. And so I just go and meet random people and let them in houses. You gotta be careful. More and more, in today's time, you gotta be careful. I'm so trusting of people. Because I still believe we live in a good world, we have a lot of people. But there are bad people out there, and you've got to be careful when you're on your own. So I do now, I still won't carry a gun, but I'll carry mace things, just so I have protection. And I have never sprayed it on anybody, but I probably should have a couple of times. I've had weird experiences. So you definitely have to be careful in today's time. Well, in Franklin County, it's still good, but when you go to Brennan, in certain areas of Brennan, the city, you need to be careful and show them how. I had a guy try to lock me in the house one time. I ended up escaping and just leaving the house wide open and calling the police and letting them lock it back up because I wasn't going back in with that guy. It was scary. So,
What was his purpose of locking people in the house?
I don't know, I don't want to know.
It just sounds confusing.
I just don't carry guns. I have one. It's a Tiffany pink, green gun. It's really cute. Tiffany green. It looks cute, but I'm shooting. Thank
No,
you.
no.
Thank you.
I'm gonna pull up on a mainline inspection.
Okay, yeah. All right, I'll take 4 or 5 more questions. Yeah.
What do you do if the house doesn't sell?
Well, that's a great question because a lot of people think their house is the best house, and people want their house, they do, because they put a lot of heart and soul in their house. So they think it's worth more than it might be worth. Usually there's a reason why it's sold, either the location or the price. And so, I try to get them to lower it if sometimes I just give up on it. I'll just say, you're not gonna listen, and you're not gonna lower the price, and it needs to be lower, and I can't keep wasting advertising dollars on it. And I'm to the point now, like I used to take listings, because even if I knew I couldn't sell the listing, I might get other calls to get people that were interested in it, that I could take those buyers and sell them something else. But now I just don't even take the listing if I can't sell it. I only take it if I know I can sell it, because I developed this plan where I put in like about $2,500 right off the bat of listing a property. I don't want to put that much money in it if I'm not going to sell it. So I usually feel like I'm going to sell it, but I just keep trying until I do sell it. I'll do open houses. I'll pump up my marketing. I'll do little tricks of trying to lower the price at certain times to get people in there. If it doesn't sell, I just wait it out and pray really hard that it sells. So it'll eventually sell. There's a buyer for everything. So I might lose money, might not make as much money on it, but it's other question? Yes.
Do you ever like sell property like out of state or somewhere you're familiar with?
Not out of state because I'm only licensed in Virginia, but I take really good care of my clients. So once I get a client, they tend to really appreciate and love me. They think I go above and beyond for them. And so they have asked me to do that before. They've asked me to afford it to sell a house. No. I mean, if I could have, I would have, because they were looking at a $2 million house in Florida. That's a $60,000 dimension, but I'm not licensed in Florida. But what I can do is find a good agent down there for them and refer that client to that agent, and that agent will give me 25% of what they make. So then that way I don't have to go to the other state and learn that market. And to be honest, I wouldn't be good in that market because I don't study that market. But I can still make some money doing that. So, I have one time before, I had a client here that trusted me a whole lot, that his daughter was buying a house in Northern Virginia. And I don't know, I'm licensed in Virginia, even in Northern Virginia, but I don't know that market. But they trusted me so much that I didn't see the house till the day she closed, but I wrote the contract and followed it through for her because they knew I would protect her. I've sold houses outside the area, but I haven't had to go about it.
Can you only license in one state?
No, you can have multiple licenses. I've got a friend, Tracy Flo, that, works Virginia and Florida. But she also has a house in Florida. It's not worth it to me to do that because I travel, but I don't have a house in another state anymore, so I just have one here. And so I don't, I could, but it's not worth it to me. I think I'm about working smarter, not harder, and I think that'd be a lot of work to try to maintain that. I thought, yeah.
Would you say that most of the houses you sell in the lake are from people that are out of state, they don't actually live here?
You do have some people like me that worked really hard and was able to finally afford it, because I finally live on the lake. I worked really hard, I started off, just in an apartment and moved my way up, and my house is on the market, so I don't know.
Yeah. I was trying to find it.
Okay, it's over, it's, 365 Carter Century. So I was able to, but I guess because that poor girl is still inside of me, that I don't go into a lot of debt. I work really hard to do, and I make sure I have money before I spend it, just because of the way, I grew up. So, a few years ago, I was determined that my child would be able to live on the lake. And so, I ended up finding a waterfront lot. The guy paid $375,000 for it, and he was in his 90s. And he had it back on the market and decided he wasn't going to build there. And so I ended up going back and forth, writing him a letter, telling him, I'd love his lot, my child would grow up there on the lake. I got it for $140,000. I got it for a really good deal, for over $200,000. And then I saved a lot of money, and our house is worth about $2 million, and I owe $250,000. So I don't owe much at all. So I built my way up. You have people that have built their way up, or they just make really good money, or they have inherited money. But the people that I sell to at the lake, 60 to 70% of them are from out of town. The people that come from Northern Virginia and New Jersey, I've never seen money like that before until I started working real estate. One of the first sales I made the first year, I sold, which I don't even know if this is a name brand y'all know or not, because y'all do Sheen and things like that, but Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yeah.
Okay, so Marie Abercrombie that owns Abercrombie and Fitch. I sold her 3 lots at Park Place, I guess 20 years ago, and she paid $1.75 million for 3 lots in cash. I've never seen money like that for a lot, not even a house on it. It's not even developed. I was like, oh my God. That's when I got a taste of how much money was in the world. And I wanted part of that. I was like, I want part of that money. And all you have to do is work hard. You'll get there. You just have to be determined and work hard. And find out where the money is and go make it.
So how much money did you get out of that?
Huh?
How much did you get?
I got 3%. So at that time, it was more than I was making at my other job all year long. So that was a good paycheck. Yeah, that was a good paycheck.
And if you agree, like most of the time, people from up north that come down here buy have cash, straight up
Yeah,
cash.
cash, they're about twice the house without the cost. Their taxes that they're paying up north is more than their house payment would be here. So yeah, I do target up north. I target the New Jersey, the New Yorkers. I target all of that because they do have cash. They're used to paying high taxes. They come down here and they get, even on the water, twice the house for half the cost. And yeah, I can spend their money all day long. That's my house. So, I mean, it's not a big fancy house. That's my dad's house.
That's cute. You have a guest house. I mean, that's fancy a little.
It's not a big not like what I sell. It's not a big fancy house like what I sell. But it's good enough for us.
That's not a nice house.
Your second house.
That's your house. Or
Well, that's where Denver is money staying.
Still your house.
According to government, my house, when it's fighting tomorrow.
Isn't it mainly the pond, and then mainly little.
Yeah, mainly did his little pond and 1 to 2 days. I have it on the market. I don't get it.
So, what is your definition of a nice house then?
Guys, I'll show you. I'm gonna show you Denver to get
It seems like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. For sure.
They tell you that, you don't have what it takes to go in life, or where, that you don't let anybody discourage you. Because I've been discouraged, I grew up poor, I was not a whole lot growing up about where I came from and how I grew up, and then, not a lot of people wanted to take me on as, an agent, and, I ended up just focusing on what I knew I had in me, and I remembered those words, if it is to be, it is up to me. If it is to be, it is up to me. And now I own my own company, I have 17 agents under me, and I have things like house, and not that one, that one's really pretty. But just know that in life, people may tell you no, people may tell you don't have what it takes, people may discourage you. But you can do whatever you want in life, because all it takes is your motivation and your willpower, and you know what you can do. So just whatever you want to do, know that you can do it. If it is to be, it is up to me. Yes, ma'am.
So after you get licensed, what do you recommend somebody doing first? Like,
Even though you don't have to have a college degree, what I've told Denver is to take marketing classes, whether it's marketing classes in the high school, marketing classes at Virginia Western, because it is so different. Most of the agents right now are older, or my age or older, the good age, like the really good agents. There are a few up and coming younger agents. But the world has changed, and these older agents, especially the ones 10 and 20 years older than me, they don't know anything about social media, like how to market. There are all these good classes you can take on digital marketing, social media marketing, that you can have a cutting edge into real estate like I've never seen before. That's what I told Denver. You could take this beyond what I do. You could find a way to work a lot smarter and not harder. So I would first, while I was young, get as many marketing classes as I could to learn, especially with the new stuff that I don't even know how to teach it. The digital marketing with the social media marketing. I pay somebody to do this, but there's a way that you could learn, and it would save you the thousands of dollars a month I spend, that when I list a house, it goes into the buyers that have been Googling houses at the lake or Franklin County or Rocky Mount, wherever they're coming. It will go to their social media feeds, because so many people are on social media, that it will show that house while they're scrolling social media over and over, because they've been looking in this area. I know how to do that. Like, I don't know how to educate for that to be done. And other marketing things that I'm not even aware of. So I would do the marketing. You can't get enough classes of forms, because my agents still have trouble with this. I would read the forms. A lot of agents don't even read the forms. They just go into real estate and they call me. What is this? I said, did you read that paragraph? It tells you what it is. And so I've gotten where I just don't even answer it. I'm like, you read it, you tell me what it says, then we'll go over it. And so, but I would take marketing classes. I would take ways to get started, because different people get started different ways. And this is all on you. You don't have a broker giving you leads. I would try to save $3,000 to $5,000 at least. Because, like right example, my agent that's 24 years old, I've been giving him leads for me, and he's been doing okay. But he got a Black Friday special on marketing on Realtor.com on Thanksgiving weekend. So he was able to get $2,200 a month advertising for $700 a month on Realtor.com. He has broke open and gone wide open from that. What that means is that on a website where people search Realtor.com, people will call the realtor that's advertised on that. He made $70,000 2 weeks ago on leads from Realtor.com. He closed on that much money. So, but he had to have that money to do it with, so he could build up. So if you could have like a part-time job or something and get you a fund started for advertising, because you're gonna have to advertise to build yourself up. And then now he's able to take that 70,000, he took 20 of that to put it in more marketing, so he can keep supplying marketing. So if you had that fund to get started, that would be more helpful than anything, because you'd be able to buy your own leads. Because how else are you gonna find the people if you don't buy those leads? So I hope that.
We have about 20-ish.
And I'll probably do two or the next few minutes. Just there's a couple of calls that call.
They may have questions.
Like 3 or 4 more questions.
Let me ask you this, for them. Wouldn't you recommend them having a side job or part-time job for a good bit of getting into it?
Just
'Cause
like
I
I
feel
did.
like
Yeah.
a lot of other students I've talked to that are in the real estate class, yeah, I'm gonna be a realtor. As soon as I get out, I'm gonna make all this money. They see the dollar signs, but they don't see how to get to the dollar signs.
And there is good money to be made, very good money to be made. I didn't get there overnight. I had to start somewhere. Everybody has, and that's in any job. What I did to make sure I was okay, because I've always been a planner, is I had built my first, or my second home, and I sold my home and went and rented a very small place, and the profit I made on that home was $30,000, which was what I was used to making a year teaching school. And so I did that and took a year leave of absence from teaching school, and had that to fall on to pay my bills with. Because especially if you're on your own, the guy that works for me still lives with mom and dad, so he doesn't have rent and electricity. If you're gonna live on your own, it's gonna be really hard to get started, because you've got your regular bills that you're not getting paid unless you sell, and then your marketing, and then when you sell a house, you don't get paid till it closes. So I've got a lot of money sitting here right now that I'm gonna make, but I haven't made it yet, all the things I sold like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I've gotta get it to closing, then I get paid. So you don't get there overnight, so you need a part-time job, especially if you're gonna still have bills, you need a full-time job. Or before you get into real estate, have that savings account, save up, yeah. And I taught school for 6 months until I got into it, to make sure I had that, because I was doing it part-time. And then I took a year of leave of absence just to know I had that to fall back on if I needed to. So, any other questions? Yes. Movie home. I sold one that was in MTV Chris. That was John Brock's house. That was cool. It was an MTV Chris. I've been in a movie, The Lake Effects, that I didn't sell that house, but The Lake Effects came to the lake probably about 7 or 8 years ago, and I did a couple of things at the lake. I sponsored the movie, but then I was in it too. I haven't sold it, but I used to live near the lake outside.
You were in a movie, and it's called what?
It was not a big movie, not a big movie, but Lake Effects. It was, yeah.
It's a really good one.
49 Marvin, or Job 40 Marvin. That's been a long time ago, because I may have it as a long.
You can look it up on Gaia. No,
Okay.
maybe a little.
Okay, any other questions?
And don't let people tell you you can't do it part-time either. I know that you're talking
Oh,
about.
you can do it part-time.
I mean, people will try to deter you regardless, but, I mean, I have people in my family tell me I wasn't gonna be able to do it.
Yeah.
That's pretty strong.
I had all kinds of people tell me I couldn't do it, all kinds of people.
Right. But my first year, I made maybe 6,000 less than my teacher salary. Doing it part-time. So it depends on you. You understand?
Right, you have to be motivated.
You gotta hustle.
I'm pretty motivated.
You've got to hustle. It will not grow down.
The way I do school,
Gotta be hustling.
the way I do school, you know.
Yeah.
I do school.
I like the one about
What?
And another thing about this job is it's 24/7.
I can look it up.
I do, yeah. So another thing about this job, and that I still, 27 years later, have a hard time with, it is not a 9-to-5 job. Last night, I was trying to prepare for this, and somebody called me at 6:30 wanting to go see a house. And so I went out and showed the house, and I get done at probably 8:30 and then get home till 9. And so even though I have been in situations before on the way to vacation, on the way to the beach, and somebody called and wanted to see a $2.5 million property, and I turned around and came back and sold it for the $60,000 paycheck. It was worth me coming back for it, but I had to disappoint my family because we were headed to the beach, and I was like, no, we're turning around. And had they not bought, it would have been for nothing. But you've got to take a chance to go out, and I take a chance with all of it. So it's nothing consistent with this. It's all, that's why I have faith tattooed on my arm, so I can remember, to have faith for myself, because I have faith I'm going to be good on all of this. Because it is not consistent. You have to work it. You have to be aggressive. You have to spend the money to do it. And you've got to take the calls. And my poor child was so used to, especially when he was younger, I'd say, we're going to spend the day together and go do something. And then I would get a call, and I'd look back at him, and he'd say, let's go sell a house, Mom. And he would change his plans. But I try to make it up to him. That's why I try to keep out of his life. But I'm a good mom to him, a really good mom. But I've had to cancel on him so many times because, if I don't go sell that house or show that house, they're going to call another agent. And that person's going to get a commission, not me. So you have to be on call all the time for other people, and that's the hardest part of my job, is being on everybody else's time.
They'll call somebody real quick.
They'll call somebody like that if you don't answer. I had one 3 weeks ago that all I was on the phone was for 10 minutes, and I didn't beep over. And she went with another agent because I didn't take her call, and it was a $1 million listing. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, at least let me interview. I'm like, I was good. The other agent was sitting there waiting for her phone, and I was on the phone making a sale. Don't you want the agent that's but she it is what it is. So you don't win all of them, but you just keep going. All right, I'm going to return these 2 calls. Is that good? It's so nice to meet you.